Hi, good morning. Welcome to my channel. I'm Steve from Steve's True History and Knowledge channel. Today we're going to be talking about facts about great apes habitat and meat consumption, and great apes society and politics and warfare. This is in my series that begins kind of just beginning with the beginning of human history, starting with early primate ancestors, and then the goal is to try to set a foundation of basic facts and knowledge, and then bring us into Western civilization and Egypt. The reason why I want to do that is because a lot of historians will start off directly in Egypt and maybe give a little bit of prehistory of Egypt, and then they're missing everything before that. And then it leaves you with questions that are unanswered. So I know that when I started to do my research and I began in Sumer, or I began in Egypt, I had a lot of questions that weren't being answered from the historians that I was using as sources. So I wanted to start from the very beginning, so there was no gaps or no holes in my knowledge, and I had a good strong foundation to rely on. So these are labeled degrees in my videos, and it starts with degree 1 with intro and knowing duality, and then it starts to move into the primates and the archaeology of the primates and things like that, and kind of moves from the equator in Kenya and starts to move northward as we move on. So this is number 14. So if you want to start from the very beginning, then you want to go to start with number 1. I switched it around. I was just reading from my research. So on this one, I actually created an actual PowerPoint presentation. So hopefully with some pictures and everything, so hopefully it keeps people more interested. This is very this presentation is very basic. It's not really doesn't have much of my own insight into it. I'm just kind of using the sources and going off what they say, and it's specifically just for these two topics here, the habitat, meat consumption, and then society and politics and warfare, just to give us a basic overview and understanding. Okay, so let's get right into it. The habitat of great apes. All great apes are connected to the tropical rainforest. Most great apes like to live in the wet forested areas, except for the chimpanzees, who tend to prefer drier savanna and forested areas. The habitats of gorillas are the forest, grasslands, shrublands, places where green plants like bamboo shoots, wild celery, and herbs grow abundantly. The primary forested areas where great apes exist is in West Africa in the Cameroon highlands, found in western Cameroon and eastern Nigeria, and in the east in the Albertine Rift highlands, covering several countries in Central Africa, like the Congo, Uganda, and in the Rwenzori Mountains. There's about 621 miles between the western and eastern gorillas. The Odzala forest in Central Africa has the highest recorded density of western lowland gorillas and chimpanzees in Central Africa. And to the right we have a picture of a western lowland gorilla. Here on this map from Google Earth, we can see the extent of the great apes. So this larger polygon here is where you can find them. Right, it stretches all the way up here from the coast of Western Africa to the north, all the way east to Uganda, and then we go down southwest to the northeastern part of Angola. And then we have these three high density, highly concentrated areas here that you see, these more whiter colored polygons, which here to the left we have the Cameroon highlands. The center is Odzala forest, and then to the right we have the Albertine Rift highlands. Okay, elephants. Elephants help the habitat of the gorillas by knocking down trees and opening up the forest, helping to spread the seeds of the trees to encourage edible vegetation growth. This allows sunlight to penetrate through the forest all the way to the ground, creating edible plants for the gorillas to eat. Okay, now we're in great ape food and meat consumption. Great apes will move seasonally to find new sources of food. It's important to recognize and remember the close association between great apes and trees. Great apes cannot digest by fermentation like cows and other herbivores. So these 2 points I'll give a little insight into. It's important to recognize the association between great apes and trees. We want to think of the Garden of Eden and the trees in the garden, and humans' association with trees. And then we can't ferment food like cows and herbivores because we're fruit eaters. So that's a big debate around the world, and I don't know why it's a debate. It's just ignorance. So these two are important to what is important to me. So I'm sharing these things because this is what I want to learn about, and hopefully I want to get subscribers who are also interested in these same topics. Okay, so moving on. The great ape diet, and humans are a part of the great ape family, is restricted to ripe sugary fruit and other digestible plant parts like flower buds, palm hearts, shoots, herbaceous foliage, ginger stems, seeds, and animal tissues. So we can see here that although we're not herbivores, meaning we don't eat grass and whatever else cows eat, I don't know. I think they eat vegetables also. We actually like to eat these specific kind of plants, seeds, and we can eat animal tissues as well. Leaves are considered a lower quality of food for gorillas. Gorillas tend to eat more foliage like ginger stems. They also enjoy aquatic plants and dry legume fruits, while smaller apes prefer ripe fruit but may also eat insects and small animals. Smaller apes need more energy because they're more active, which is why they prefer the riper fruit. Gorillas can find areas of fruit that they do not like if the fruit that they do like runs out. I think that's important to show how apes move around and find food. Okay. Due to a genetic mutation that occurred long ago from humans eating meat, we now have the enzymes that are required to break down the amino acids in the meat protein. Chimps do not have these enzymes. We are interested in knowing if these adaptations were beneficial or harmful to human health and longevity? Did eating meat reduce our life expectancy? Did any other mutations occur because of eating meat? Current research shows a decrease in life expectancy in conjunction with the amount of meat eaten. Are the genetic mutations and adaptations to meat consumption reversible on a 100% plant diet that consists of mostly fruit but not all fruit? The answer to these questions may benefit human longevity. So I'm not going to answer these questions here. These are just questions to ponder, and I may come back later on a research project and give answers to those questions. To the right, we see a chart of vegans live on average 7.8 years longer than omnivores. Omnivores means you're eating meat and you're eating animal products and you're eating plant products. Vegans only eat plant products. Gorillas are older than chimps on the primate tree and usually live in groups of between 3 to 50 males and females that all stick together and are protected by a silverback gorilla or two. Older females will stay in their group while younger children will eventually leave. The females will go look for males to mate with and stay in the new group to raise their children, while males will join with other young males or start their own new group as a leader. Young males will try to steal females and kill their infants. This is because the older males will not. The older males will usually take the females, so the young males have to fight to get the females or just steal them somehow and bring them into their group, and then they'll kill the infants because I'm not sure why, but maybe they want to start off fresh. Maybe the infants will turn against them because they're not their own. That's just speculation. I'm not sure. Silverbacks will defend their groups even against humans. Orangutans generally stick to themselves, and Asian apes live in smaller groups compared to African apes. Orangutans are from Asia. Males will stay in areas where there are females present and will wait for them to become fertile, then call out for sex. The females will come to them. Males will fight over females, and younger males must steal females. So we see the same kind of behavior as the African apes when it comes to females. Chimps are more of hunters compared to the more peaceful plant-eating gorillas. Chimps live in larger groups of 100 or more, which are made up of smaller families. Bonobos and chimps are more sociable compared to Asian apes. Both are well organized as a group compared to the other apes. They form communities and subgroups within a community. Females may travel alone looking for a new group, but many will congregate around a fruit tree with ripe fruit, and the group will become very large and noisy. This is very interesting to me that they do this. Again, we want to point to the trees in the Garden of Eden with Eve under the tree and then the snake in the tree as a goddess. Okay, if you wonder why I'm saying that, then you need to watch my other videos. Tree, yeah, I think I talk about that in the tree and serpent videos. Okay. The females will leave their family and join into a male group where she can become pregnant. Males will usually remain with the family they are born with, which is called philopatral. Conflict between bonobos is resolved through sex. That's interesting. To the right here, we see bonobos. They look kind of like smaller chimpanzees. Gibbons, to the left here we have a gibbon. Gibbons live in pairs in a monogamous relationship and raise kids together and will drive their children out when they reach maturity. Bonobos usually do not dominate their females. Chimps and gorillas will dominate their females. That's an interesting point there to consider. Chimps can be militant. They cooperate like humans to defend themselves and their territory. They will patrol their territory boundaries and conduct lethal raids into neighboring chimpanzee territories, which can result in killings. Okay, this is also interesting from warfare. This is showing us that this is not did not start with us, with humans. It actually began 5-6 million years ago at least with chimpanzees, and so it's normal to fight and have wars and kill each other. Unfortunately, right? We can change that. We can change that natural behavior. Just like if you raise a predator animal from birth in a human environment, it's not gonna lose its natural instinct, but you can train it to eat a different kind of food and be well more behaved, I guess I would say. We share more DNA with chimps. Use tools and build their own nests. We share more DNA with chimps than they do with gorillas. Many of our internal systems and parts are similar, like our blood and our immune system. Chimps will show emotions and political behavior, like forming alliances and social manipulation. They kiss, hug, communicate, raise their children for many years like humans do, and even use leaves for medicine. That's interesting. Okay. To the right here, we got a angry chimpanzee. The famous definition of politics by Harold Laswell is who gets what, when, and how. Chimps will bluff, form coalitions, and use isolation tactics. So we're starting to see some political behavior here. Warfare tactics are used on neighboring chimps. Chimps are social and will meet up within their own territory, but practice fusion, which means they split up into smaller groups as they move through the forest, and the group members change. So they split up into groups, and then one individual, as they move down through the forest, one individual from one group will move into the other group, and one individual from that group will move into the opposite group. And it's kind of like they're kind of moving like a military does. Chimps can recognize themselves in the mirror. And that's the end, and we have the sources that I used here. We have Julian Caldecott and Lara Miles, which are responsible for the majority of this information from their book World Atlas of Great Apes and Their Conservation. And then we have Franz de Waal, Chimpanzees, Politics, Power, and Sex Among Apes. And thanks for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. And take care and have a great day.